What is it like to be in a healthy, non-abusive relationship? You flourish. Literally become a completely upgraded version of yourself because you are safe and supported in doing so. I like to compare making the transition from an unhealthy healthy relationship to those videos of abandoned and abused dogs who get adopted. In an unhealthy relationship, you are angry, suspicious, and paranoid. Nothing is stable, and you don't even recognize yourself. In a healthy relationship, the opposite happens. You have the space and stability to become a happier, more confident person. You're with someone who always has your back and will support you as you get all the tools you need to grow. The end result is like the mangy, biting dogs in the videos who, with the right amount of love and care, become amazing family dogs. In my experience, this also happens when you transition into a healthy relationship with yourself. Honestly, boring, in the best way possible. Predictable, stable, free from the constant do they really love me / mean what they say second guessing. Comfortable, safe. You're able to voice your opinion without being insulted, and you can express your discontent with a situation without worrying whether it will end your relationship. For people who come from a long line of somewhat tumultuous entanglements, like me, it's a refreshingly monotonous existence. That doesn't mean there won't be surprises or disagreements. Just that they don't usually come with life-altering consequences. TBH, from someone who went from a horrible marriage to a healthy relationship, you realize daily how hard it was before. You stop overthinking the little things that you do. You're amazed at how someone communicates with you. You're confused when they tell you how they feel and then move forward with you. They don't guilt you into doing things. They don't blame you for their behavior. They don't make you feel guilty when you haven't done anything. They give you space, not as a punishment, but when you need it. They don't punish you. You don't wake up wondering where you stand. You feel secure, safe and loved. Honestly, it's a world apart. Peaceful, comforting, safe. However, if you come from a toxic relationship, you're going to have to unlearn toxic defenses. I did. I still do. 10 years later. It's hard. It's worth it. We don't fight. Ever. We have disagreements, but we never yell or get in each other's faces. I'm never accused of being crazy for worrying about something that bothered me. I'm never worried about being shut out or ignored. There is a lot of communication. I left my ex/daughter's dad 10 years ago. A year later I met my current partner /son's dad. It is night and day in so many ways. Being in a healthy, non-abusive relationship might feel boring at first. You're waiting for the drama. You're waiting for the abuse to start. You might feel unstable or suspicious. You might draw incorrect conclusions about your partner or pick fights / make comparisons to your ex. You might feel unworthy of being in a stable, healthy relationship. You have to get used to being treated right and really trust your new partner. All this unhealthy stuff is going to come out of you for months while you process. Your partner needs to be patient and understanding. It's great. I feel uplifted. He supports me unconditionally and is always so proud of everything I achieve. Never threatened. He makes me want to be a better person in every way. And I strive to do better because he gives me confidence and self-belief, and I want him to be proud of me. He soothes my fears without making me feel lesser for having them. He never asks me to shine less brightly, so he looks better in comparison. We disagree respectfully and make up before we go to bed. We never run out of things to talk about and laugh all the time. He is never cruel or hurtful towards me. I feel safe and warm and comfortable, like being wrapped up in a long hug, but excited because I'm looking forward to the future. We've been together 19 years, and I'm so looking forward to our future. But I also don't want it to go by too fast. I want to enjoy every minute. He is my favorite person and my best friend. First time being together with a nice partner after leaving an abusive one was not all rainbows and sunshine either. I was so anxious because he wasn't shouting at me. I didn't know what to expect, what he was thinking. Nothing like what I was used to. It tortured me for a good month. Sometimes felt very boring too, since abusive people are always dramatic about everything. I sometimes tried to start an argument because I couldn't wait for him to explode. Once I understood what normal and healthy relationship was supposed to be like. It was so much fun. Felt wanted. Cherished. Someone actually cared about me. Calming and safe. Gained a lot of confidence because they see the best in you. We never fought. We were honest and always communicate as much as possible to solve whatever problems we had. Would apologize and forgive each other. Best feeling ever. It feels safe and comfortable. That person feels like home, no matter where you are. The worst thing you can imagine them doing is eating your leftovers. You know they'll never do anything worse than that. They respect your decisions and you can have level conversations about hard things and still love each other at the end of it. Even if you still disagree. I hope you find this with someone one day. It's hard at first. Because you're bracing for impact. You think it's going to go like the other ones. You might find it hard to open up with your new partner once you settle in though. It's so freeing. It's being able to go out with friends and come home to someone asking you how it was with genuine interest. It's the day-to-day living in the best way possible. Sharing responsibilities and chores. Helping each other. It's being able to laugh and joke on an equal plane with each other instead of getting it back in your face. It's less day-to-day little anxieties that you might not have even noticed because you're not on eggshells anymore. It's being able to talk about boundaries and have them respected. It's about talking about your past without it being used against you. Sometimes you might slip up and hurt each other, but you're able to talk about that hurt and fix it. It's both parties compromising occasionally, not just one. It's feeling free. It's feeling loved. It's feeling respected. After coming from an unhealthy one. Scary. I heard somebody say toxic relationships are easy, while healthy relationships aren't, and that's always stuck with me. Mainly because it was true for me. Being in a healthy relationship requires trust, honesty, and vulnerability, and that can be daunting when all you know is non-healthy patterns and behaviors. Comfortable, safe, predictable, feels effortless and light, makes other things in life easier to deal with. Magical. I can cuddle up with him, and the only thing I have to worry about is him falling asleep on top of me if he looks over to me in the middle of a conversation. Usually it's for an inside joke, to make a weird noise at me, or to smile adoringly at me. If he says you know what, it's usually to tell me something sappy, or that he wants to do something with me. I can tell him I feel sad or anxious, and he tries to make it better. I can ask him if he wants to go run an errand with me, or bake with me, or just sit around my house while I go about my day, and he can't wait to spend time with me. Absolutely magical. One thing I haven't seen posted is when they are crabby about something. You can call them on their BS and not get yelled at. You don't flinch when they suddenly move. When they are angry, you can trust that they will never physically hurt you, but they are by your side through the good and bad. I have never been in a physically abusive relationship, but I grew up in a home where my mom was abused and killed by her husband. It took years for me to fully trust my own husband, who I've been married to for 33 years. We communicate. We understand that that is the key for a healthy relationship. I have trust issues from my childhood, and my husband understands that. He was patient with me while I was working through a lot of my childhood trauma. We married when I was 19 years old, so that trauma was still pretty ingrained in me. Comfortable, loving, safe. It's normal everyday stuff made better by the simple fact that you're together. Whether that's cooking dinner or both working from home independently, but next to each other. We still plan date nights and outings, of course. But I never worry when we've both got a really busy couple of weeks and we are unable to do much more than seeing each other an hour before we go to bed. It's knowing you can sometimes get annoyed at the other person without that having any consequences. It's just so comforting to know that there's always that one person, and that they'll always be there, like a steady component in your life that you can always fall back on. It's never boring, but I can imagine it may seem that way if you're used to huge ups and downs. I kept being worried that it wasn't passionate enough until I realized what I perceived as passion was actually drama. It's safe. It's feeling loved unconditionally. Even if I have a bad day, I can turn up not my best self, and he'll only want to make it better, rather than blame me for being boring or moody. It's trusting that he wants the best for me. I never thought it would happen, but it's so beautiful and easy. It feels like safety. It feels like love. It's the warm and simple joy of a touch on your shoulder in the afternoon or a kiss on your forehead in the morning before work. It's the security of wanting, when you know that the wanting is shared. It's taking showers together just because, and stealing bites of each other's food in the most ridiculous ways just so you both can laugh. It's the wonder of disagreeing and coming out stronger, not weaker, and the power of learning about yourself in ways you never could have imagined. It's the absolute, bone-deep contentment of knowing your home is a person who loves you and cherishes you. It's feeling truly protected and deeply cared for in 1,000 small and major ways. It feels like forgiveness, sometimes, and making up when the forgiveness was a little late in coming. It's imperfection and annoyances you're glad to have. It's missing someone on a level you didn't even know about until they had to go somewhere else for a week. It's being tuned on when he has no idea you're even watching what he's doing. Who knew opening an Amazon package could be hot? For people who have been hurt, safety can feel foreign and strange. Passion and abuse are easily mistaken. But when you're ready and able to experience true partnership, it's something you can't explain in words. It's so incredibly profound. Honestly, it reminds me of a story from Greek mythology. Hear me out. The story goes, that humans used to be 8-limbed creatures with 2 heads. And we were so powerful that gods were afraid of us. Zeus used his powers to split all humans into 2 separate beings, and scattered us across the globe, forever searching for our missing second half. Finding her was like finding the other half of me, and loving her is putting myself back together. I truly feel like we are one person in 2 bodies, a fearful and wonderful creature that has found itself. It's the safety of knowing someone, and them knowing you in return. Like others have said, it can be boring after 4 years. There isn't the anxiety/excitement combo of the beginning, but I wouldn't trade my other half, literally, for the world. At first is a shock, because you initially distrust everything, but then you learn that are people who are worth it. Indeed, I read this somewhere, and it stuck with me. I never knew what love was, until I learned what love was not. It means being able to talk about the hard things, not being afraid, showing affection. It means being a team, while remaining individuals. It is amazing. Other people are saying it's boring, but I couldn't disagree more. My boyfriend is always making me laugh, always making me smile, always making me competitive. I never get tired of him, because I can 100% be myself around him, and not worry about being accepted or not. I have so much fun when he's around. It's amazing. Aside from that, it's just easy. There's no emotional turmoil, no worry, nothing. Just happiness. When we disagree on something, it's a conversation, not an argument. He doesn't put me down, or say hurtful things. He's seriously my best friend. It's true that when you know, you know. It's the foundation of my world. Everyone deserves it. So don't settle for less. Edit. It is also the result of years of work, growing up and being adults and compromise on both sides. The work never ends. But if both partners are putting it in, it's less like work than a way of life. It feels comfortable and safe. I look forward to seeing my partner, whereas with my ex I'd stay longer at work, because I didn't know what I was coming home to. We make each other feel loved, and even when we get cranky, we know that we've got each other's backs 100%. We laugh together and enjoy chatting. Sometimes it gets a little dull, but that usually just means we need to go out and do something different, perhaps separately. I'm so glad I was brave enough to move on from my ex, even though it felt like I'd never meet someone else. It feels awesome. We love and respect each other and treat each other with kindness. It's safe and comfortable, but I don't find it boring at all. We have a ref blast together, and even after 24 years together come across as new lights to people. I wanted to write a long explanation, but to give a short analogy from a famous quote, it feels good to get the mountain off my shoulders and start climbing it instead. It feels safe. It feels like not walking on eggshells or trying to be as quiet as possible. It feels like not having to placate or constantly be 10 steps ahead in case they're in a bad mood. It's just normal, I guess. In the best possible way. Comforting. You feel what it's really like to be yourself, but like best version of you. None keeping score who did what and what's next. It was, still is, a bit of a roller coaster for me. It was scary at first, because I was constantly on edge, waiting for him to show his true colors or something. To yell, to gaslight me, to find him lying to me. I was scared to be vulnerable around him, let my walls down, and get too attached. And then I realized he was just a decent human being, and I completely flipped. I started thinking this person is amazing. He's too good for me, and I was so stressed that I was going to F it up and lose him, that I didn't deserve him. It's been almost 3 years, and I still feel like this occasionally. I have been able to really break down most of those walls with him now. We are silly and goofy around each other. I don't have to be perfect. He knows my flaws, and he loves me regardless. I feel safe. I feel loved. And I feel accepted. We are a team and we listen to each other. We grow together and encourage each other and celebrate each other's wins. It feels too easy and too good sometimes. And I love that this is our normal.